In the year 2132, space travel has become commonplace, and humanity has conquered the vastness of the universe. This year, technological advancements have enabled humans to explore the far reaches of the cosmos, unlocking mysteries and expanding their understanding of the universe. But amidst this boundless realm of possibility, one place continues to elude humanity's reach, a celestial sanctuary called the white space. The widely believed notion about the white space is that it holds the cure for all mental and physical impurities. Anyone who ventures into it will be free from all diseases and suffering. But the key to white space resides in its celestial guardian, Tien Lung, who exists to eliminate anyone who tries to venture into it. In 2132, two men embark on an exploration to reach the white space, but they have as a hindrance the guardian dragon, Tien Lung. When the two men try to harpoon Tien Lung, they get his mate instead. Tien Lung destroys their ship by opening white space in the middle, blowing it up. The captain of the ship named Acushnet dies while the second man lives to tell the tale. 24 years later, a Caucasian man is being followed by a woman on a flying motorcycle. She works for the ICE. The man is in a Chinese restaurant, meeting an Asian man named Ahab. Ahab invites the Caucasian over for a business deal for him to bring in Tien Lung, and he will be rewarded with 5 seasons worth of haul. Ahab then gives him a star map on paper that shows all the systems where Tien Lung has been seen. It's on paper because any electric device can be tracked. The woman on the flying motorcycle is still outside, checking the restaurant's environment. The guard at the entrance sensed her presence and headed inside to report to Ahab. Ahab questions the Caucasian man about why he is setting them up with the ice on his tail. He has the man seized from behind by the guard and grabs a parasite out of a water glass with his chopsticks, extending it towards the Caucasian, who knocks the parasite and the chopstick on the floor, and then a fight ensues. During the fight, the man sends the parasite into Ahab's nostrils, and he runs out of the restaurant, grabbing the map on the table with bullets raining behind him. 3 months later, at the ICE Center, one of their employees, Lynn Navarro, wants to go into the white space because she believes it can cure her cancer. She has only 4 months to live. She joins the Essex spaceship crew passing the route as their mining and fishing, MFF, escort. All her ICE records have been wiped clean to protect her identity. Lynn is welcomed by the captain of the Essex ship, Richard Bentley, who turns out to be the Caucasian man, and his younger brother, Owen Bentley. At the captain's order, Owen shows Lynn around the spaceship. Owen introduces her to the crew members, the ship mechanic Stubniski shortened to Stubbs, the cook Batali, who warns Lynn to stay away from her pan, the pilot, Ragsland, the second mate, Harpo, and the first mate, Hawthorne, who worked with the Bentley brothers' father on the Acushnet. Then the ship takes off. The crew is on a mission to hunt clickers, which aren't only edible but also the main targets of most fishing vessels because they are worth money to the space food production industry, AmberCorp Corporation. On getting to space, Owen, Harpo, and Hawthorne put on their pods and exited the ship, taking along the cage where they would keep their hunts. Their hunt was successful as they captured a significant amount of small clickers. However, a larger clicker proves to be a challenge, and Owen, disregarding his crewmates' warnings, is determined to capture it. As he pursued the clicker, a blinding white light suddenly emerged, knocking him out of motion. It's Tien Lung, the celestial dragon. Owen quickly tells the captain to tag him, which he does. This knock affects Owen's pod, and he keeps circulating in space, but his team rescues him. On the ship, all the crew gape at the celestial guardian with awe evident on their faces. After circling the ship for a few minutes, Tien Lung disappeared into white space. During a meal, the crew talks about how huge Tien Lung is. Lynn informs them that it's a celestial dragon that guards the gate of heaven, as AmberCorp received a transmission from a lost ship 6 months ago outside the Hyperion star about him. However, the crew doesn't believe in such a thing, and the captain dismisses whatever Lynn is trying to bring up by saying the ship might have gotten lost in a nebula storm. Meanwhile, Lynn continues that the clickers follow the ambergris dropped by Tien Lung, and if they track them, they will double their load with the ambergris. However, despite her persuasion, the crew refuses. They've already decided to return home. After eating, Harpo visits the captain in his room and tries to persuade him to let them stay and get the big catch Lynn proposed. But the captain refuses. At Harpo's exit, the captain starts watching the recording of his father. His father was the captain who met his death at the hand of Tien Lung in 2132 when he tried to enter the white space. While watching the recording, the captain has a flashback to when his father was alive and gave him a sword as his birthday present. A call from Ragsland alerting him of the presence of 2 ships near their vessel interrupts him from watching the recording further. He exits his room and joins Ragsland at the flight deck. It's the Boomers, the space pirates. The captain alerts the crew of their new company. Unknown to the crew, the captain put their ship beacon on the cargo that the pirate will take. The men hide the women in the crate to prevent them from being assaulted by the pirates, but Lin refuses to hide and brings out her gun as protection. The pirates eventually catch up on them and leave with all their catches, leaving them with only 2 packs of clickers. However, they didn't leave without exposing Lin's identity. The pirate captain ripped out her ice badge, hiding beneath her shirt. While Lin is helping Owen remove the needle pinned on him by the pirates, the captain flashes her identity card in her face, questioning why she joined their vessel. But she has no reasonable reason, so they lock her up. At the exit of the pirate, the captain gives the crew 2 options: either go home empty-handed or take down Tien Lung and take the grand prize. The crew didn't want to accept at first, but they didn't have an option when he brought up the grand prize, 5 seasons worth of haul. Meanwhile, Owen visits Lin in her prison to thank her for saving him and asks why she joined their vessel. Lin reveals her desire to venture out into white space, and by tracking the star system, the only vessel that follows that same course is the Essex. At this information, Owen confronts his brother for hiding his motive of eliminating Tien Lung. The captain attempts to justify his intention, citing the death of their father. But Owen refuses to accept his reasoning, telling him none of the crew signed up for such a dangerous mission. At that moment, ambergris splashed on their vessel screen. Owen proposed gathering enough of the ambergris to persuade his brother to secure their lost haul and head back home. But the captain refuses and says they only head home at his order. The 4 men, except the captain, put on their pods again and hunt for the ambergris in the deregulated space. While hunting, one of the ambergris lands on Stubbs' headgear. With the beacon, the pirates can trace the vessel's location and decide to return, intending to get rid of the crew. Citing the appearance of the pirate, the captain orders the 4 men to return to the vessel, but Harpo refuses. Despite the captain threatening to leave him behind, he refuses and only returns after catching a clicker. This time, the pirate ship is already closing in on them, and they start firing at them. At Harpo's return, Ragslin initiates hyperspeed at the captain's order, and Stubbs help, saving them from the bomb thrown by the pirates. Unaware of the hidden parasites within the ambergris, Stubbs tries to remove it at the cargo bay but inadvertently gets stung as he presses the button to unlock the crater where the clicker hunted by Harpo is kept, causing him to go haywire. Compounding the situation, he leaves the clicker crate ajar. At the dining table, all the crew gathered except Lin and Stubbs. Ragslin asked if anyone saw Stubbs, but none responded. All of them want to head home except the captain and Hawthorne, with Batali complaining about a food shortage and Ragslin saying the vessel is in danger with their beacon lost. At Hawthorne's request, the captain decides to visit Lin, informing the crew that they will follow the tag on the Tien Lung signal. Back to Stubbs, the parasites have infected him. In her room, Batali shares the news of her 3-month pregnancy with Harpo using a decidedly 20th century pregnancy test. With the news of being a father, Harpo becomes desperate to return home. Lin is trying to break free from the captivity, but as the captain enters, she quickly organizes herself. Lin lets him know she is aware of his motive to hunt down Tien Lung, but she isn't going to let that happen. But the captain threatens to get rid of her if she gets in her way. Lin counters him by saying the ice will search for her when she doesn't check in for long, but the captain lets her know that he planted the beacon on the cargo taken by the pirates so no one will know their whereabouts. At the captain's exit, Lin successfully breaks out of the room. Driven by his desperation to return home, Harpo breaks the oxygen reserve tank on the ship. He frames Lin, who is walking by at that moment for it, and she is locked up again, this time in the cargo bay. Meanwhile, the captain lets Hawthorne know that Harpo tampered with the oxygen, and Hawthorne, in turn, lets the captain know that he is aware that the pirate attack is his doing. The captain changes the conversation by bringing up Stubbs' disappearance because they need him to fix the leak in the oxygen. Both of them start searching for him, going their separate ways. During the search, the captain hears a noise coming from the cargo bay Lin is in. He opens the door to behold Lin being chased by the clicker. The clicker crawled out of the crate left ajar by Stubbs before he went haywire. The clicker pursues Lin and the captain, but they get rid of it after a few minutes. The captain returns Lin to her room, and Owen joins him there. Owen expresses his opposition to locking her up again, and the captain agrees on the condition that he keeps her out of his way. Owen tries to make his brother see the extreme nature of the mission, leading to an argument where he accuses the captain of lacking empathy, similar to their father's treatment of their sick mother. After their usual round of sex at the locker room, Harpo wants Ragslin to join him, but she refuses out of loyalty to the captain. In his attempt to stop his brother, Owen sends a transmission from their vessel to some quarters. Since the pirate has their beacon, they get a lock on them again, resulting in a renewed chase. The Essex has been following the tag on the Tien Lung, but they haven't caught sight of it. But after some days, Tien Lung emerges again from the white space and starts attacking the ship, trying to destroy it. Owen put on his pod to confront Tien Lung without informing the rest of the crew. On seeing him outside, the captain tries to call him back, but he refuses. The captain then orders the other 2 men to suit up and serve as backup. After a series of scuffle, Tien Lung kills Owen. After Owen's death, Harpo convinces Ragsland to join him. Meanwhile, the vessel can't go any further because its oxygen level is unstable. Lin starts searching for Stubbs at the captain's order as he's the one who can fix it. He gives her the sword her dad gave her as the pirates have collected her gun, with the deal that she finds Stubbs while he follows Tien Lung to the white space. The captain spots Tien Lung and orders Ragsland to follow it. She hesitates because Tien Lung is heading into a storm, but the captain insists, telling her that will stop the pirates from pursuing them. The vessel enters the storm, and Tien Lung appears between them and the pirates. He destroys the pirates. The storm affects the Essex ship system, forcing them to go manual. The captain manages to power the ship engine for it to go manual, but not before Stubbs attacks Lin with a knife. She fights back, severing his hand. Stubbs regain consciousness and go on a killing spree. He attacks Ragsland while she is in the bathroom and tries to attack Batali, but Lin rescues her by severing his head from his body. Tien Lung reappears, and the captain orders Ragsland to return to the flight deck. He plans to bait Tien Lung, then Hawthorne will lock him down, and both will kill him. The captain puts on his space gear, confronts Tien Lung, and successfully baits him. Following the plan, Hawthorne prepares to suit up, but Harpo attacks him. With his intelligence, Hawthorne kills Harpo, dons his space gear, and joins the captain to eliminate Tien Lung. But they aren't successful. Tien Lung suddenly grabs the captain and swallows him while Hawthorne watches in shock. Tien Lung proceeds to destroy the Essex. Lin quickly reaches the emergency area, ejects herself, and floats through space as the ship explodes. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to help the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.